Genesis 21:22-34 says, "At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, said to Abraham, 'God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here before God that you will not deal falsely with me or my children or my descendants. Show to me in the country where you are now reside as a foreigner the same kindness I have shown to you.' Abraham said, 'I swear it.' Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. But Abimelech said, 'I do not know who has done this. You did not tell me. I have only heard about it today.' So Abraham brought sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a treaty. Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs from the flock, and Abimelech asked Abraham, 'What is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart by themselves?' He replied, 'Accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug this well.' So that place was called Beersheba, because the two men swore an oath there. After the treaty had been made at Beersheba, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of the Lord, the eternal God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines for a long time." This passage is the first time we see the name El Olam, the everlasting God. This is the name of God we are leaning into this month as we explore the everlasting and eternal nature of our God. He's Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. He is not lacking anything and is in need of nothing. He is and possesses everything we are in need of. He is our all in all. Join me as we learn about El Olam, the everlasting God. Welcome back to another month of home groups as we discuss the names of God. This month, we are focusing on El Olam, the everlasting God. As we read earlier in Genesis 21, Abraham is faced with a conflict over his well, which is a needed resource for those living in the desert of the Middle East. This confrontation had the means to be dangerous for Abraham and his family, but because of God's faithfulness, Abraham's family was protected. Abraham commemorates this blessing by planting a tamarisk tree and called on El Olam, recognizing God's unchanging and eternal nature. Abraham could have easily been swayed by the danger of this situation. He could have been moved by fear to overcome him, but instead he stood steadfast, knowing that God's faithfulness and trustworthiness never runs out. We are not meant to be moved by what we see in the natural, because the God we serve stands outside the limits of nature. He is not held down by our situation. Instead, he reigns over our situation. We even read in Psalms 90, God's everlasting nature and how he has always been God, even before the foundations of the earth. It says in Psalms 90, 1-2, "Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God." God is and has always been. His nature is timeless. It is a wonderful thing to know that our God is without beginning or end. We may not understand this in our natural minds, but we do know that whenever we need God, he is sure to be there. Not only is God timeless in his nature, but since he is El Olam, the everlasting God, we know that he is always trustworthy to come through on his promises. Psalms 100, verse 5, speaks to this character of El Olam. It says, "For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations." Hebrews 13:8 says, "Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever." Oftentimes, we can believe that God has forgotten about our situation. He's forgotten about the crisis that we are facing. We want to see God move within our time frame and what we believe to be the perfect timing. However, if we trust that God truly is the everlasting and eternal one, then we will believe that he sees the whole picture. If we would sit back and reflect on all the prayers we have submitted unto God, are you not glad that God did not answer every single one of those requests? I am grateful that God is bigger than my situation. He sees the whole picture, and he knows what I am in need of and when to answer. He is trustworthy to not only keep his promises he has spoken over me, because he is the same yesterday, today, and forever, but he also is trustworthy to give me what I actually need not always what I ask for. Lastly, in Philippians 1, verses 3 through 6, we see that we can rely on his everlasting faithfulness. It says, "I thank my God every time I remember you, and all my prayers for all of you. I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion till the day of Jesus Christ." Our El Olam has started a good work in all of us to do the work of his ministry and expand his kingdom. He will not leave that work halfway done because his faithfulness is everlasting. Oftentimes, I talk about generational blessings. I've prayed that because of my faithfulness to Christ, that my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will get to experience God's goodness and blessings. But the only way we will see those generational blessings get poured down is because we serve a God that has no end. He has walked with us through generations, and he will continue to walk with us. With your home groups, you will continue to discuss El Olam, the everlasting God, his timeless nature, how he is trustworthy to fulfill his promises, and we can always rely on his faithfulness. Let's grow together.